Chapter 6. Grayle. I glanced around the house. The neighbors had carted out all the old furniture that I didn't carry up to the attic that belonged to my father and mother. I wanted to keep the heirlooms my mother cherished, even though I didn't know what to do with them. I rolled my fingertips around and over the diamonds circling her wedding ring. I remembered how she cherished that ring, because my father used his last few dollars to pay for it. My fingertips counted each diamond, and each one was a sacrifice my father had made for the woman he'd loved. I touched my father's ring. It was a simple gold ring, nothing fancy like my father. He wanted me to have it when he accepted that he had to leave his home. He placed everything in my care because he'd spent a lifetime building assets for his only son, and now I had to take care that his life wasn't wasted. I knew I had to come home and make my life here, to take care of the person who understood and cared for me, when I couldn't do that for myself. I placed my parents' rings, my mother's jewelry, some she'd received from her grandmother, into a box and locked the safe. I couldn't bring myself to give them away to strangers. Aside from the jewelry, there was dinnerware given to my mother from her mom, and these beautiful crystal flutes she'd received from my granny, to celebrate marrying my father. I knew my mother wanted a girl, by the way she cared for these delicate items, and thought she'd be able to pass them on one day. I'd asked Austin if he wanted an antique desk to place in our apartment, and he'd said, "What the fuck for? They just clash with my new furniture." My mother would ask me over and over if I wanted her ring and antiques, just in case I'd get married someday. She said that I could adopt when I found the right guy. You could adopt a girl and a boy. I chuckled. I knew little about being a parent at my age, or any age. If I'd taken on that responsibility in my 20s, or even now with Austin, and both of us working and seeing to my father, I'd be setting myself up for failure. My mother was a stay-at-home mom, and I saw how difficult it was for her, and she had just me. I went through all kinds of changes when I was a teenager, and then went off to college, where I'd partied and fucked my way through law school. I finally slowed down when I met Austin. However, my mother never thought Austin, or any of the random men I brought home to meet them, were the right ones. Now it was too late. The right guy never came when she was alive, and I made myself content with my lifestyle, such as it was. Yet I knew random hookups weren't for me. Meeting men in clubs, bringing them home just so I wouldn't wake up alone the next day. I needed to feel the pillow, and know there was someone breathing next to me. At the time, I didn't have to love him, or he loved me. I didn't want to be alone. Yet here I was. All the things that frightened me, being alone, childless, and creeping up on 40. All the things I wanted to avoid, found me eventually. I was living alone, because Austin was never around where we could go for a ride, or a jog on a Sunday, or vacation at the places I'd wanted to. It wasn't all about sex with me, because I'd never found anyone that captured my innermost being, until I stepped into the ice cream shop, and there he was. This feeling that coursed through me couldn't be denied, even as I tried to hide it behind this facade I offered to most people I'd met, even to Caden. If Caden, that cute, terrific-looking guy, in his uniform with splashes of ice cream on him, had been perceptive, and he'd felt the attraction I had for him, he'd have known that he affected me in ways I could never explain to him or anyone. For the life of me, I couldn't let him know that I would fuck him in a minute if I hadn't made a commitment to Austin. "Austin, where are you when I need you?" I murmured, as I looked around this empty house. Caden wasn't someone I just wanted to fuck, because I wanted to make love to him, bring him flowers, walk with him hand in hand, take him for a ride, go boating, and all the things I dreamed of doing with someone I'd fallen in love with. "Grayle. Grayle. Where are you?" That was Cole's voice that was summoning me from my thoughts. "There you are. What are you doing sitting there, staring at all those old pictures?" He sat on the floor next to me in front of the fireplace, and rummaged through the containers of pictures my mother and father had taken of me since I was a baby. Cole reached and picked one picture out of the many, and it was of him and me when we first became friends. We were standing in front of my house, and a stray dog had wandered into the picture, and the dog stayed there. The old man who owned the dog had died, and someone forgot about it. The dog stayed alive by roaming the neighborhood, and children would feed him. That day he showed up in the picture, and never left me and Cole until the day he died. I think I cried more than Cole, or maybe it was even, and that reminded me that when I had time, I would get a shelter dog. Do you remember this picture? Cole asked, holding it up and chuckling. Of course I do. Now give it to me so I can burn it, I joked. It was a picture of me with long hair, an argyle sweater, bow tie, short pants, and an uncomfortable smile. I wondered how I'd survived grade school the way I looked. After hiding that picture in the bottom of the box, I rose and glanced around. Do you like the furniture I've chosen? You've modernized this place. Looks great. Are you planning any orgies soon? Cole grinned. I ignored Cole. Do you think Austin will like it? I've met Austin only once, and he didn't appear to be a man who would like comfortable furniture. You probably want to know if Caden would like it. I turned and stared at Cole because he always knew what I was thinking, and sometimes what I was feeling. I probably should have married him when he proposed to me, but we were only 10 years old. Cole stood and passed his palm over the back of the sofa. I'd say maybe Austin would like the furniture, Grayle, but it would be a big maybe. The furniture looks like you, but not him. Conservative uptight plush real leather sofa, and armchairs in front of a fireplace. I'd say that's you up and down. Austin, he's more of the expensive disposable furniture type, the way he likes his men. I narrowed my gaze and bit my lip. I guess I asked for it. Remind me not to ask your opinion on how to decorate my home. That's not the look I was going for. Well, that's the look you've got. And as far as Austin is concerned, I threw that analysis in for free. He raised an eyebrow, turned away, and pointed to a bag. In that bag is a lineup of Hitchcock's best. It's still movie night? I was thinking something more action-oriented. Star Wars, action and adventure. Something not so heavy where I have to think. Something where there are car chases, shooting and killing? Anyone can see those, and never have a thoughtful idea about those movies, but Hitchcock? Now those are movies for a thinking man, and the entertainment is priceless, so said Cole. I sucked in a breath, because I could tell how this night would go for me. All I wanted was to see Caden, and get an idea what kind of young man he was. I just enjoyed looking at him. I was like a man who bought cars, and never drove them, but enjoyed looking at them, owning them, but if you didn't drive the cars, they wouldn't be any good. However, I wanted to drive Caden all right. I wanted to drive my cock between those pretty swollen lips of his, but I couldn't. So I rationalized that there was nothing wrong with looking, even if you couldn't afford to own it. I reached inside Cole's bag to pull out a disc, and read the titles. Foreign Correspondent, Lifeboat, Frenzy, Vertigo, Young and Innocent? I dropped them down. Some I've never heard of, and what's up with the discs? You've never heard of streaming and jump drives? I like going old school, he quipped. I raised an eyebrow. I'd never heard Cole talk that way. I guessed when you were living someone, you incorporated their manner of speaking, or maybe I'd been around different people in the corporate world too long. That's the point of these movies. You don't want to have movie night with movies everyone has seen. I bet Caden has never seen these. Isn't that what this is about? Caden. I couldn't say a word. If I had, it would be a lie and Cole would catch me in it. He waggled a finger at me. You can't fool me, Grayle. You like that teenager. He's not a teenager. He's 21 or 22 and graduating from college. I hated that he knew me better than myself. I tried a distraction. I hope you have something to play those discs on, because there's nothing here. I gave them away, and I'm not going rummaging around in the attic or looking for shit I'd just be giving away or would place in a sealed box. Don't worry, dude. I raised an eyebrow at the word dude. I've got you covered. And he pulled out a portable DVD drive and inserted it into my new Sony flat screen. Caden will love this flat screen. You'd better get a gaming chair, because if all goes right, you and he can play games since you're into all that action shit. I don't know Caden well, but I do know one thing, and that is I'm too old for him. Who the fuck says so? Your dick isn't that old, where it can't appreciate a tight hole every now and then. I furrowed my brow into 3 rows. I didn't know if it was the way he referred to Caden, because I didn't see him as just another piece of ass. I liked everything about him, from his face to his expressive eyes, and the way he'd smiled at me when he'd tried to pick me up. Another time and another place in my life, he wouldn't have had to ask me anything. I would be all over him, even stalking him just to get one date. I turned away, to keep Cole from seeing my eyes, and how my cheeks had reddened when he mentioned Caden's name, not to mention the fullness of my cock when I thought about Caden. I tried denying what Cole and I knew to be the truth, but I'd never admit to it. I'm not interested in him in that way. I just like the way he's so open, unafraid and young, Cole said, reading my mind. I was going to say cute. What's wrong with admiring a cute guy every now and then? There are plenty of cute guys in this town that would love for you to show them some attention. You've seen them here each time you visit, but you've never taken the time to have a party for one. You're wrong. The party isn't for him. I need to get reacquainted with people I enjoy being around. There's nothing wrong with that, and I have a partner. If you're talking about Austin, he's not a partner. He's a roommate, and a poor one at that. Look, Cole, I appreciate you trying to be the friend you've always been, but can we talk about something else? Did you order enough pizzas, beer, and liquor? Have I ever let you down? There was this time when, you know, I was in this new relationship with Keys, and now that we've ironed out all the kinks, we are settled, and there's nothing preventing me from organizing a successful movie night. The pizzas will arrive on time, and will be hot. The beer will be cold, the liquor will be arriving in a few, and the men will be paired off. There won't be any stragglers like you and that hot young thing. So you control him and maybe get your dick sucked. I bit my lip. Couldn't you invite a single guy, so it wouldn't look so obvious that I may be interested in Caden? I'm not saying I am, but I don't want it to look too obvious, I barked. Well, you finally admitted that you are hot for him. What could I say? I'd stepped into this with my eyes wide. The bell rang.